Well, today is the day. It is time for the Black History Bowl. We're excited. We wish, obviously, we could have the assembly and all the things we do on Black History Bowl and Mr. Washington's band. And we've had steppers and different groups present for us. We wish we could do that, but today is a day that we've looked forward to. I know the kids have worked hard and they're ready to go. So hopefully you have practiced and you're ready to go. And today, actually, pretty neat. I didn't know this until I looked at this up today. On February 26th, which is today, 1926 is when Carter Woodson started Black History Month. So this is actually the day that Carter Woodson started Black History Month in 1926. So hopefully you've had learned a lot as you've studied for the Black History Bowl. I always talk about it's always great to hear about other people. A lot of times you know about Rosa Parks and Jackie Robinson and some of the bigger names, but also it's great to hear about Mae Jemison, the first African American woman to go to space, and you got Rebecca Lee, the first Black woman to receive a MD degree. Of course, you probably heard of this lady, but Oprah Winfrey became the first African American to host a nationally syndicated talk show. You've got Richard Spikes invented the first automatic gear shift. So obviously that impacts people every day as they drive their cars. Debbie Thomas, the first African American to win a medal at the Winter Olympics. I remember watching Debbie Thomas skate. That makes Mr. Messer a little bit older than everybody else, but she was a figure skater. W.E.B. Du Bois and Langston Hughes and their writings and their thoughts and their poems. Frank Peterson, the first Black general in the Marine Corps. So there's a lot of people who have impacted the world and the country. We've said before, Black history is our history. And it's important that we recognize all the people who have impacted us in so many ways. And we're excited that people got to learn some more and take part in this Black History Bowl this year. Hopefully next year, like I said, we'll be back to our normal way. But we want to thank Mr. Washington and Mrs. Rader for helping us set this all up and get this ready. So thank you to them for preparing this today, and we look forward to it. We're going to start off this morning, or this afternoon, depending on when you're watching this. We've got some high school students, Mariah and Miles, who went through Mason Intermediate School and kind of talked about Black leadership and also what the Black History Bowl was like for them. So we're going to start out with a brief video from them as they talk about their experiences here. So I'm going to turn it over to Mariah and Miles. Thank you.
Hey, my name's Mariah. I'm a senior at the high school, and my favorite leader from Black history is Angela Davis because I think that her work is so inspiring and taught me a lot as a young Black woman myself. And my favorite memories from the Black History Bowl were definitely sitting around with my team during lunch and memorizing as many facts as we could, just having a lot of fun with it, and then going to the finals and everyone supporting me. So go Pacesetters.
Hey everyone, my name is Miles Tavernier. I'm a student at Mason High School. I want to wish all of you good luck on the Black History Bowl. It's coming up pretty soon, I hear. This is my favorite time of year because we get to talk about Black leaders from today and the past. When we think of Black leaders, we think of leaders from the past, like Harriet Tubman or Rosa Parks or Martin Luther King Jr., but there can be Black leaders today, actually. My favorite Black leader is Dr. Kesmet Corbett. She is the lead scientist that created the Moderna coronavirus vaccine. She's going to be able to help millions of people, and she's just a reminder to all of us that no matter your skin color, you have the ability to change the world. You have the ability to touch thousands and millions, even billions of people today. Thank you guys so much, and I hope you do amazingly well in your Black History Bowl coming up pretty soon. Bye, guys.
Thank you, Miles and Mariah, for sharing your thoughts. We wish you also the best of luck in the future as you move on to college next year. You got a bright future ahead of you. Amazing kids who came through Mason Intermediate School and get ready to graduate from Mason High School, so thank you. Now we have a special presentation. Many of you may or may not have heard the poem, "The Hill We Climb." It is by an amazing poet in person, Amanda Gorman. Amanda Gorman recited this poem during the President Biden inauguration. And we thought it was such a powerful poem that we would make it part of the Black History Bowl today. And we have staff and students who are going to recite the poem. And so we broke it into different stanzas. And so I am lucky enough I get to start the poem, and then we'll move on from there. So once again, this is The Hill We Climb by Amanda Gorman. Mason Intermediate students, Americans, and the world.
When day comes, we ask ourselves, where can we find light in this never-ending shade?
A loss we carry, a sea we must wade. We braved the belly of the beast.
We've learned that quiet isn't always peace, and the norms and notions of what just isn't always justice.
And yet the dawn is ours before we knew it. Somehow we do it. Somehow we weathered and witnessed a nation that isn't broken, but simply unfinished.
We, the successors of a country in a time where a skinny Black girl descended from slaves and raised by a single mother can dream of becoming president, only to find herself reciting for one.
And yes, we are far from polished, far from pristine, but that doesn't mean we are striving to form a union that is perfect. We are striving to forge our union with purpose.
To compose a country committed to all cultures, colors, characters, and conditions of man. And so we lift up our gaze, not to what stands between us, but what stands before us.
We close the divide because we know to put our future first, we must first put our differences aside.
We lay down our arms so we can reach out our arms to one another. We seek harm to none and harmony for all.
Let the globe, if nothing else, say this is true, that even as we grieved, we grew, that even as we hurt, we hoped, that even as we tired, we tried.
That we'll forever be tied together, victorious, not because we will never again know defeat, but because we will never again sow division.
Scripture tells us to envision that everyone shall sit under their own vine and fig tree, and no one shall make them afraid. If we're to live up to our own time, then victory won't lie in the blade, but in all the bridges we've made.
That is the promise to Glade, the hill we climb if only we dare. It's because being American is more than a pride we inherit. It's the past we step into and how we repair it.
We've seen a force that would shatter our nation rather than share it, would destroy our country if it meant delaying democracy.
And this effort very nearly succeeded. But while democracy can be periodically delayed, it can never be permanently defeated.
In this truth, in this faith, we trust. For while we have our eyes on the future has its eyes on us.
This is the era of just redemption we feared at its inception.
We do not feel prepared to be the heirs of such a terrifying hour. But within us, we found the power to author a new chapter, to offer hope and laughter to ourselves.
So while once we asked, how could we possibly prevail over catastrophe? Now we assert, how could catastrophe possibly prevail over us?
We will not march back to what was, but move to what shall be. A country that is bruised but whole, benevolent but bold, fierce and free.
We will not be turned around or interrupted by intimidation, because we know our inaction and inertia will be the inheritance of the next generation, become the future. Our blunders become their burdens.
But one thing is certain, if we merge mercy with might and might with right, then love becomes our legacy and change our children's birthright.
So let us leave behind a country better than the one we were left. Every breath from my bronze-pounded chest, we will raise this wounded world into a wondrous one.
We will rise from the golden hills of the west.
We will rise from the windswept northeast where our forefathers first realized revolution.
We will rise from the lake-rimmed cities of the Midwestern states.
We will rise from the sun-baked south.
We will rebuild, reconcile, and recover.
And every nook of our nation and every corner called our country, people diverse and beautiful will emerge better and beautiful.
When day comes, we step out of the shade of flame and unafraid, the new dawn balloons as we free it.
For there is always light, if only we're brave enough to see it, if only we're brave enough to be it.
All right, I know you're getting antsy. You're ready for the competition to begin, and I think we're ready for it. So once again, remember, the most important part is all the learning and studying and new information that you've learned. The competition's the fun part, but the most important part is what you've learned and making sure we take what we've learned and we apply it and we move forward. Remember, we are stronger together. Talk about that comic culture and care about one another, care about others. Take time to listen, take time to learn from others. So hopefully you've learned some of that during the month. Good luck to you today. Teachers, at this time, when the video is over, you can start the Black History Bowl competition, and I'm sure I'll be walking around to check in on teams and see how they're doing. Thank you, and have a great day.